Hello everyone, and today I'll be reading danheng's Listener by me, so let's get into it. To you, danheng was everything you'd ever wanted. Danheng was honest, and quite protective of his friends and loved ones, and you had been lucky enough to be one of his friends, though you were quite sure you were about to be a loved one of his, not because of overconfidence, but because of sheer determination. And also because March 7th had said that he was acting a little bit different with you, and you could only hope that she was right. You wanted that. The special treatment, the love, affection, and you had hoped one day you'd even be able to get a hug. That would be the ultimate win of your life. Little did you know, March 7th had a completely different plan for you. She had an idea that you would play 7 minutes in heaven. That was her ultimate plan, to gather the crew and set the two of you up, with everyone knowing that plan, except both you and danheng. It would work in the ultimate end, because March just knew, and though Herta was not that interested, Himiko could see it happening, and so did Stell. So, they all conspired against you for one common goal, to see their beloved friends happy, and to have them kiss, at least once. And later on, when it would all be done and you would ask March why she did that, she would tell you her honest answer that it was all for the common good, the greater good. And there was no greater good than getting your two friends together and setting them up. If you asked March, she wouldn't be able to tell the difference. So, that made it all the better. It was certainly the most noble thing that anyone could ever do, and that's why they all decided to do it. When you and danheng walked into the room, they were all playing a game, supposedly, and March had explained the rules of the game, telling you what those 7 minutes in heaven meant. It basically meant the two of you would go into a closet for 7 minutes, and that would be it. So it was your turn, and you had to pick a paper where someone's name would be. Little did you know that there was going to be no round after this. So all the papers were simply danheng. Poor you. They had truly played you well. And when you got his name on the paper, you were blushing brightly, clearing your throat. Is that okay with you, danheng? You asked nervously, and Marge does not even give him the chance to answer. Look, come on. It's your turn, both you and him. So in you go, now, she said, ushering you into the closet and locking it up. The two of you, suddenly finding yourself there, staring at each other in silence for a couple moments, as if processing what just happened. Meanwhile, danheng was blushing, but he was looking at you, in a different kind of way than he usually does. And honestly, there wasn't that much space between the two of you. Your bodies pressed against one another. The only thing keeping your faces from being so close was the fact that you were a lot shorter, so your face was just up to his shoulder. Well, it seemed like there was going to be a lot to do here, he said sarcastically, blushing and trying to just lighten the mood. But danheng, he seemed serious. You know, Mayan, we could use this to our advantage, he said softly, shifting so he's closer to you, his arms slowly enclosing around you, encasing you in his warm arms. That was what he was exactly doing right now, and you found yourself blushing brightly upon realizing it. Danheng, are you sure this is what you want to do? Really? You ask, your voice slightly becoming more high-pitched. But he just smiled, pulling you even closer until you were pressed firmly against him. I'm quite sure, Ryan. In fact, I've never been more sure about anything. He whispered into your ear, making you blush brighter, nodding quickly, trying to just regain your breath, as it felt like you were breathless, or breathing too quickly. Whatever it may be out of the two, you were certainly quite shocked. It was a lot to process after all. Danheng, I. And before you could continue the sentence, he shook his head, turning you and cupping your face in his hands, leaning down to press a soft kiss to your lips. And soon, you found yourself melting into it, that one kiss that you've been aching to have for as long as you could remember. Your arms immediately wrapped around him, your hands going into his hair, that soft hair of his, that made you feel like you were dreaming, because there was no way this was real. But then when he deepened that kiss, making you blush brighter, and holding you even closer to him, you knew very well that this was just as real as it could get. This was the real deal. Everything you have wanted and dreamed of right now. And all because of one game. You were truly grateful for March's idea. You didn't know this was a setup, no, but you were just grateful that she had actually made you play this game and give you that chance. Because soon enough, you were closing your own eyes and melting into the kiss, losing yourself into it, and even taking initiative, pulling him right back in when he pulled away to breathe. It was quite intense between the two of you, right to the point that you forgot it was only 7 minutes, because then they had unlocked the closet to find you kissing. It was quite an ordeal, and though the two of you were blushing, danheng had started to date you ever since, and March and Himiko and the rest of the Astral Express, they were quite happy it worked out as well as it did. And as for you and danheng, this was quite a memorable day. To think your first kiss would be in a closet. It was quite funny, and the two of you would often get teased about it, but you couldn't be happier. Sure, it was completely not planned, and maybe you could have thought of more romantic ways to have your first kiss, but you were more than happy about how it went.